Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be interviewing three amazing scoliosis warriors. So here we go. Thank you so much for agreeing to be interviewed for my English school project. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, and I'm of course on anytime.
This interview will be posted on my Destined for Straightness TikTok and on the Scoliosis Warriors page, so be sure to check that out.
Okay.
So, without further ado, let's get started with this interview. So, just to let the audience know, there are two categories, one for those who had surgery and one for those who did not have surgery. So, if you could just tell the audience what section you fall under.
Yeah, so I had surgery.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Okay. How did you find out you had scoliosis?
So it was right around my 9th birthday, and I was a gymnast at the time, and I went to try on a leotard in front of my gymnastics coach because we had leotards we could just try on there. And I bent over and touched my toes. That's one of the ways they can tell if it fits right. And obviously, when you bend over and touch your toes, you could see it. And my gymnastics coach didn't say anything to me, but she went and told my mom later that day, and she went ahead, yeah, I think you should go get Rene checked out. I think she has scoliosis. And I was like, no way. And so then my mom made me bend over and touch my toes, do the typical scoliosis check. And it was pretty obvious that I had it. Like, it was definitely uneven. And so we went to the doctor with the orthopedic back doctor person, and they took x-rays and confirmed it. And I think it was around a 35-degree curve already. And I had an S curve. So there was two curves. I don't remember what the smaller one is, but the bigger one was already 35.
Wow.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts about scoliosis?
So I was 9, so I was pretty young. I was in elementary school. I'd never really had heard of it. It's not something that you really get talked about until you have it. I didn't really have necessarily a positive or negative. It didn't really seem to affect my life kind of thing at this point. It was a little weird. I was like, okay, cool. What does that even mean kind of thing?
Yeah.
So at that time, I don't really think I really had a super strong opinion on it. I was like, interesting. There's something wrong with me.
Yeah.
So I was like, cool.
So you said you didn't know about scoliosis.
No.
Wow. Okay. So how old were you? So you said you were 9 when you were diagnosed. And
it was right on my 9th birthday.
Was already 35, the larger curve?
I think it was about 35. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it was I think one of your questions on there is a mild, moderate, severe. I'm pretty sure it was already in the moderate section, immediate treatment had to happen.
Wow. So what did your first step of reducing your curve look like?
So I wore a nocturnal hard brace. So I wore it at night, and I wore that for around 3 years before basically my scoliosis just won the battle, basically, and it just stopped working. I had about 3 or 4 braces, but all of them I only wore at night. And the only reason I got a new one is just because I would grow out of it. But so from 9 to 12, I wore a brace every night, hard brace.
Wow. Are you in pain?
I most times no. If I do a lot of really heavy physical activity, I am. I've had my surgery for now, I think 7 years. So it's kind of become just normal for me. I don't really know what it would be like without. So I don't know if I have more back pain than I would if I didn't have scoliosis, or that's just something that most people have. I think I probably have a little more, but I really don't experience anything unless I do really heavy physical activity, or I sit in the same position for a really long time, really long car rides. I like to move around and change my position, which I'm sure you've experienced too.
Yeah.
Basically the normal things that people with scoliosis, but it's not anything where I'm constantly taking painkillers for anything like that.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, relatively low pain.
Okay. Has scoliosis affected your self-esteem?
Definitely. When I look in the mirror, I know I could see my scoliosis. I think I look different. If you ask any one of my friends, they're to say you can't tell. And this is after surgery, obviously. I didn't really become self-conscious about it until I got a little bit older. So I had my surgery when I was 12, and I don't think I really even became at all self-conscious about it until I was like, I don't know, 15, 16. Like,
Yeah, like
kind of whenever you start really judging yourself. And I had a really good support group with curvy girls. And so I knew a lot of people that had scoliosis, and I mean, it didn't really bother me. I never really saw it in myself. When I look back at pictures, I think I look crazy because it was really bad. But like at the time, I didn't really have any problems. But to this day, I still look in the mirror and I think that I look different, and I wish I didn't have it. But at the same time, it's not going to prevent me from dressing any different. Like, I like showing off my scar. I think it's cool. I'm gonna wear whatever I want to wear. Like, no one else notices but me. I know that, so that helps out. But I still can see the differences in myself.
Yeah, and I feel like we like do a lot to judge ourselves. Like a lot of people,
of course,
we're like harder on ourselves for some reason. That's like, I don't know.
Yeah, if I didn't have scoliosis, it would be something else that I'd be complaining about. So
exactly.
Yeah, like it's. I mean, I don't think it's any more than you would expect. So.
Yeah. Okay, so what was life like before surgery?
So I have always been pretty active. I was a cheerleader. I do every water sport you can think of. I would tumble in cheerleading. I stunt. It wasn't until about probably 2-ish months before surgery that I started really having pain associated with it. I remember, like, I always would do everything. Nothing really stopped. It didn't really stop me from doing anything. But like right before I got surgery, I remember being at cheer practice and like doing things that I'd almost get like zings of pain, and I would just like fall. But that was like right before surgery. Like I guess it probably got pretty bad right before surgery, and it started to happen. But before surgery, I didn't really have any limitations on my life.
Okay. Was surgery your decision, or was it stressed by doctors?
So I actually really, really did not want surgery. My curve was at a 78-degree curve.
Whoa.
When I got surgery. When they found it, I think it was already like 35, 40, I don't know. And the brace held off. I was only gaining like 2 to 3 degrees every year. And then in that last year, I went up like 10 or more degrees. Whoa. And so then I think if I stayed under 60, we weren't going to do surgery. But then after that, they needed to do something about it. And with that being said, like, I had a complete meltdown in the doctor's office. Like, did not want it at all. I was 12 years old. I was like, I don't want to have surgery. It was terrifying. Like, you could not have told me worse news. Like, because to me, I felt normal. Like, there was nothing preventing. It wasn't preventing me from doing anything. So I didn't think I needed surgery personally. Looking back, this is another one of your questions. I'm glad I did have surgery. Especially when that last month came up and I actually was starting to have pain. I think it was good. But I did not want surgery. And it was definitely something that if the doctor said I was going to have it, I was going to do it. And my parents weren't. They, also looked at every other option there possibly was. So I had the surgery. It really, really broke me down a little bit in the beginning. And then once like the surgery day came, I wasn't really that stressed out. Like, I kind of just was like, okay, this is already happening. So.
Oh, wow. Did you only know about surgery at that time, or did you know about non-surgical methods too?
So so I obviously had the back brace for years. That wasn't working. And then I had heard about some other methods, but like my scoliosis is already at the point where like surgery really was the only option for me. Like, it was the only one that made sense. If you have a 78-degree curve, you're going to have surgery probably. So
yeah, and
at that point, that was the only option. I'm sorry?
And being so young in age,
you
found it was like by the time you had surgery, it was already 70 in the 70s. So
like I needed to have it.
Yeah. No. Wow. So how old were you when you had surgery/surgeries?
So I only had one surgery, and I was 12 years old, and I had T4 to L2 fused.
Wow. That's only one surgery. That's amazing. Because some people have a lot of different surgeries, so that's kind of a blessing.
Yeah, and I'll be done unless something tragic happens. So it was successful.
How did the surgery go, and was your healing process long?
So my surgery went really well. I got really good correction. They took me down to 22 or 23 degrees from 77. So that's like better than they would ever hope for. I have a lot of twisting still. So my like right rib hump is still really big. That's something they can't really fix with surgery. Like they more focus on obviously the correction of your spine going straight. And then after surgery, the only things that he told me I can't do, obviously once I was healed, were trampolines, but he gave me like a kind of like, okay, you can do it, because I was a cheerleader, and obviously that's like a training thing to get me back into the sport and stuff like that. So like telling me I can't use a trampoline, really, like I was going to be safe on it. He was like, just be cautious when you use it, kind of thing. He's like, they are dangerous. And then also like tackle football, which I wasn't really interested in doing. So I think that one was fine. But so basically I have no limitations. I do everything I want to do. I obviously can't bend my back, but I get around it. And I was released to do all activity after 3 months. So I went back to cheer practice after that, and I immediately started working on my tumbling again, which I was able to get back my back handspring, eventually got a back tuck, and I was able to stunt again. I've basically, like, obviously this is a long time ago, so I've had a lot of time to get better, but within a year, I had exceeded the tumbling I had before surgery.
Wow.
I worked really hard for that. Like, that was something I really wanted to do. And I showed my doctor, and he's like, wow, that's pretty cool.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you said there weren't any restrictions after healing. So were you able to resume your normal lifestyle?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. I'm still a cheerleader to this day. I cheer in college.
Wow.
So I still do all my water sports. I'll do whatever I want, honestly.
That is amazing. So do you regret having surgery, even though in your case you kind of had to have it?
Yeah, I don't regret it at all. I think it was a really, it had to happen. I don't know that I wish I had it earlier or later or anything like that. I think it kind of happened when it was supposed to happen. I'm happy I had it. I think I'd probably be crazy looking if I didn't, like bent over sideways. But it hasn't really put any restrictions on my life to this day. So I'm glad I had it.
No, yeah, and you are such an inspiration. Like hearing your story and how you like fight through, like your tumbling was better. Like that is amazing. Like you yourself is like, you're just a miracle story. So
thank you.
Yes, and you look beautiful. I cannot tell anything. I know you're used to hearing that. No, you're amazing.
Thank you.
So yes, so like I said earlier, please be able to go on my YouTube channel, Destined for Straightness, and check this out, and the Scoliosis Warriors page.
Okay, I will.
Yes, so it was a pleasure meeting you, Rene. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you too.
Bye.
Bye.